Welcome back to another playthrough series. I haven't done this on my channel before. It's long overdue, Memoir 44. Now, the refresh of Memoir 44 is currently out, I think in the US, coming out to Canada pretty soon. This is the older version of Memoir 44, but I thought we would play it anyway. It's actually pretty decent, and because I've just been going through all the Battle of Hoth, I figured let's do some Memoir 44. The system is virtually identical. There's a few little differences with how units work. And the first mission we're going to be doing is the first one in the book, called Pegasus Bridge. And so we're going to take a look at that. We'll get into how the game plays. If you've been watching along on the Battle of Hoth, then you have a pretty good idea how this game plays. So let's take a look. So the first mission, Pegasus Bridge, June 6, 1944. So there's some historical background, which is actually pretty interesting. The late hours of June 5th, 1944, led by Major John Howard, the men of Oxford and Buckinghamshire Light Infantry step aboard a 6-horse gliders on a secret airfield in Dorset. Their mission, to launch the first airborne assault of D-Day and capture 2 bridges, one astride the Caen Canal, the other over the Orne River in Normandy. A few minutes past midnight, now June 6, 1944, the gliders clip through the treetops and land in a small patch of rough field between a pond and the Caen Canal, only yards away from their objective. Major Howard and his troops pour out of the plains, achieving complete surprise and rushing the stunned German forces. Despite furious opposition from a heavily sandbagged machine gun nest at the end of the now famous Pegasus Bridge, they capture their objective within moments. To the east, the Orne Bridge is secured equally rapidly, giving British troops the first victory of D-Day. The stage is set, the battle lines are drawn, and you are in command. The rest is history. So that is how the board is set up. Now, these should be British troops, but the game itself comes with US infantry, tanks, and artillery, and German infantry, tanks, and artillery. And so we'll continue on here. So basically the briefing, the Axis player. So the German player take 2 command cards. Germans were surprised. And then they draw 2 cards after turn 1, 2 more cards after turn 2. You'll now have 4 command cards for the rest of the battle. And the Allied player, the British Major John Howard, they take 6 command cards, and you go first. The victory condition is 4 medals. I like playing to 5, so we'll probably go to 5. Any Allied unit that captures a bridge hex counts as 1 victory medal. Place an objective medal on each of the 2 bridges. As long as an Allied unit remains on the bridge hex, it continues to count toward the Allied victory. If the unit moves off the bridge or is eliminated, it no longer counts. And it says, although all British units involved in the raid in Pegasus Bridge were elite forces, for the sake of simplicity, this introductory scenario is using regular infantry units only. Okay, we've got some terrain to think about. Now, I put blue beads here because this is supposed to be a big pond or lake that is impassable by everybody. We have forests. We have sandbags, we have wire, we have towns, and we have bridges and waterways. So let's take a look separately all of the different terrain, and then we'll get the cards set up for the first turn. Alright, and the game comes with these handy-dandy cards, terrain cards, and they're double-sided. So we're talking about removable objects. So sandbags, occupant may ignore the first flag. So the first retreat that gets rolled against them, there's 1 sandbag unit there, that's the machine gun nest, can ignore the first retreat. If the occupant leaves, remove the sandbags. And for infantry shooting into the sandbags is -1 die, and armor shooting in -1. Now wire, unit moving in must stop. So we have wire here in 4 places. And it says, in wire, infantry battles out at -1 die. So for instance, if our British troops here move into this wire space, they have to stop moving. And then they'd normally get 3 dice attacking the sandbag place, but they only get 2 because they're shooting out from wire. And of course, the sandbags also give the German unit a -1. So actually, if these guys go here and try to shoot here, they'll only be rolling 1 die. So there you go. Unit moving, stop. And infantry may remove the wire instead of battling, and armor removes wire and may still battle. So basically, we can move troops in here and remove the wire, but then we're setting ourselves up to be pinned down by the machine gun nest. Alright, the next thing is rivers and waterways, impassable except over bridges, which are considered normal terrain. So we have 2 bridges in the game. One here and one here. All right, on to forests. They block line of sight. Unit moving into it must stop, and a unit moving in cannot battle, except French resistance, which we don't have in this scenario. And if you're shooting into the forest, it's -1 for infantry. Shooting into the forest with armored units, -2. We just have infantry. And let's see, towns and villages also block line of sight. And we've got some towns and villages up in this corner here. Unit moving in must stop. Unit moving in cannot battle except French resistance, which we don't have. In towns and villages, armor battles out at -2. So armor battles into the towns at -2 and battles out at -2. And infantry is -1 die firing into towns and villages. And then we have just a standard unit. So infantry, they can move 0 to 1 and battle, or move 2 and not battle. And they may take ground on a successful close combat. Now that's different than Battle of Hoth. So basically, if this was a German unit and these guys took them out completely or made them retreat, they could take ground. You can't do that in Battle of Hoth, but you can do it here in Memoir 44. Armored units we won't worry about because we're not in the game. So basically for infantry, if there's adjacent 3 dice, then 3, 2, 1, very similar to the infantry in Battle of Hoth. Artillery, which we don't have, so we won't really worry about it. They're very long range. They can only move 1 and then they can't battle. And they ignore line of sight and terrain protections. Alright, that's basically everything going on. So we're going to drop our initial cards, and I think we're just going to have 1 turn for our British troops and 1 turn for the Germans, and we'll leave it off there for today. Alright, and another major difference between Memoir 44 and Battle of Hoth is there's only 1 deck of cards in Memoir 44 shared between the Allies and the Axis. So I'm going to give this another shuffle. I've already shuffled the living daylights out of it. And we will be playing from the British perspective, so we're not going to see what the German card is until they play it. So there we go. And I'm going to go to 5 medals. We're supposed to go to 4. I like going to 1 extra. So we're just going to hand cards. So the Germans get 1 card, and we get 1, and the Germans get 2. Now that's all they get, and then we get 6, I believe, was the scenario. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 6 cards to choose from, and I think we go first. Let me double check the scenario and come right back. So yes, indeed, we get 6 cards and we go first. So we have Assault, and you'll see they're very similar to Battle of Hoth. So we can order all units on the right, of which we have none. So that's probably not a very good card to play. Close Assault. Issue an order to an infantry and or armor unit adjacent to enemy units. Well, we don't actually have any right now, so that's probably not another good card. Direct from HQ. Issue an order to 4 units of your choice. That's a good one. Attack 3 in the center. That might be a good card as well. We've got Recon, 1 on the left. So Recon, as you know from Battle of Hoth, you choose 2 cards when you refill your hand and discard 1 of them. And finally, we have Armor Assault. But we don't have any armor. So basically, you look at the bottom. If you do not command any armor units, issue an order to 1 unit of your choice. Okay, so those are our cards. We now need to choose 1 of them and get activating our units. Okay, I think the card we are going to play is Attack. Issue an order to 3 units in the center. Well, that's what we're going to play, and so, yes, I like to use the dice. So 3 in the center. We actually have 6 infantry in the center, so we're going to order this one here, and we're going to order these 2, no, we're going to order those 2, and this one here. Now, I'm just going to have them move, I think, without firing, because they're basically not going to be able to. So these guys can move 2 but not fire, so 1, 2. They're moving up along the side of the lake, and they won't be able to fire, so there's that. Got to get our troops in position, and these guys are going to try to make a beeline for the bridge here, so they get to move 2. So they'll go, I believe, actually they'll go 1, 2 to here. They'll go straight up. Try to cut off the Germans up there, and they won't be able to fire at anyone because there's nobody within range. And these guys are going to come around the lake, so they're going to go to this way. So basically we're just redirecting troops this time, and they won't get to fire. that's it. So after we do that, at the end of our turn, we're going to be drawing up one card, and the one card we get is the recon on the right. Okay, so we got a couple of recons, and we have direct from HQ close to Salt. Okay, that's our turn. Over we go to the Germans. Now the Germans only have 2 cards. They will be picking one and going with that. Alright, and the Germans are going to be using a probe card. Issue and order 2 units in the center, so yes, we look at their card that way, but center is center, no matter which way you look at it. And they'll be picking up 2 cards at the end of their first turn. Alright, they get to order 2 units in the center, so they only have 2 units in the center. They have that one, and they have the one that has the sandbags around. Now these guys aren't going to move, they're just going to fire. So I guess we'll use the green symbol to say they can, actually we'll use the grenade for them being able to fire. These guys can move too. So I think they're actually, you know what, I think they're just going to move up on top of the bridge to try and block the bridge off, because that's an objective. And they will not, oh no, 3, 2, 1, they'll be able to fire at these guys actually. So yeah, taking it to us. So they're going to get to fire. Okay, let's zoom down here and get to having the attacks happen. And I see a pretty horrible thing for our British units. We probably should have thought about moving these guys because they have nowhere to retreat, and every retreat that they try to do is going to be taking damage. So we're going to start with these guys on the bridge. Rivers don't block line of sight, so they have a clear view here. 3 dice, 2 dice, 1 die. So they're just rolling 1 die against our British troops. And what do they get? They get a grenade. So, okay, there we go. That's 1 hit. First blood, one of our infantry has been destroyed or killed. And these guys in the sandbag are 3 dice, 2 dice. So they're rolling 2 dice against us. Not a good start. And that's 2 more hits. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're down to actually just 1 unit there. And that's it. The opening moves, not going so good for the British. Alright, so for today I'm going to back the camera out. Oh, and hang on. Yes, now they get 2 cards. So they get 2 more cards, which of course we will not see until they play them. And we'll back the camera out now and wrap it up for today. Alright, well we started off with a bit of repositioning, got some troops moving up, but oh, did we ever get hammered there? But we're going to have to do something about that in the following episodes. So thanks so much for watching along. Thanks for your comments, descriptions, and likes. Memoir 44. So we're into World War. We went from Star Wars, now we're right into World War II themed games. Hope you're enjoying it. This is just a classic, fun World War II little light skirmish game. I think there's a little bit more to this version than Battle of Hoth. I think they streamlined Battle of Hoth a little bit. I like them both a lot. So here we are playing Memoir 44 for the first time on my channel, which I find that hard to believe because I've actually had this game for a long while. Unfortunately, I don't have any of the expansions, but maybe they'll reprint the expansions. That would be awesome. So thanks so much, and hope to see you tomorrow for the continuation. Memoir 44, we're playing the Pegasus Bridge scenario, and we're going to see how we do against the Germans. So I hope you'll join me for that. Picking it up again tomorrow.